Hi, this is Johnny L, and welcome to a video on the 3 phases of a love relationship and how to navigate them successfully. It can really help to understand natural phases that a relationship is going through, and you'll see why really quickly. So, obviously, we all know that relationships go through phases because sometimes you feel close, sometimes you feel distant, sometimes you're communicative, sometimes not. Sometimes you're spending a lot of time together and sometimes not. So, there's shifts and whatever. But there's some larger phases that relationships go through that can really help you to understand. So, the first phase of a love relationship, hopefully we all know this and really enjoy it. It's called the honeymoon phase, right? In the honeymoon phase, we'll do things like have sex, go to dinner, go to a movie, have sex, go for a hike, have sex, have some wine, have sex, etc., right? During the honeymoon phase, you tend to feel merged in a sense of oceanic love with your mate. I mean, everything just seems so right and it feels so good, and we're very happy. Now, you get about 3 to 6 months, more or less, in the honeymoon phase, right? That's all that you get. But during that time, you have lots of sex and intimacy. You love to spend all your free time together. You feel closer than you have to anyone ever before. You think about each other all the time. It's very much fun. Nature is bonding you very powerfully during the honeymoon phase. But you can't stay in the honeymoon phase. I am sorry to tell you, but nobody does. Nature doesn't want couples to stay in bed all day, every day for years and years, right? So you only get to do it for a while. You bond very powerfully, and then nature says it's time to move on. So you get the honeymoon phase. It's awesome. You feel very merged, like the other person completes you. And then nature says, sorry. And this is usually going to happen, 3, 6 months, maybe a little bit more or less. Then you move to phase two. Phase two can be called the separation phase or the me us phase. Separation, where you start to separate from being merged. Me us, because you also start to think about yourself, not just being with your mate. In the separation phase, you become interested in things other than your mate. You want to hang out with your own friends some, you want to pursue your own interests some, you want to spend some time apart. You still want your mate, you just don't want them all the time. So in the separation phase, which can last for several years as you spend time and with each other and not with each other, you can really enjoy it, but you're also enjoying your own life and your own interests. So problems clearly arise in this phase, and a lot of relationships get into big arguments and or break up as you move into the separation phase. So let's look at this. First off, one partner generally moves into it before the other. One partner wants to start hanging out less or doing things with their friends more or whatever before the other. So the other can start to feel left out and excluded. So that can cause some fights. And there's going to be less sex. And both of you start to wonder if the thrill is gone. Now, it might just be a little bit less. It might be half as much. Who knows? But there will be less sex because, again, nature has moved you on from that merge phase, that bonding phase where you could be in bed a lot of each day. So, how are you going to deal with the fact that there is less physical sex? And there's also going to be more time apart. And both of you can wonder if it means something. So you have to navigate this phase carefully. You should just be ready for it and get on with your own life and your own goals and dreams, right? Because relationships aren't intended to stop you from pursuing your goals and dreams. So aim to spend quality time together, not quantity time. You should prepare to have less feelings of oceanic love. Nature has moved you on. You still love your mate, you enjoy spending time with them, but you don't have that same feeling of being merged, of, oh my gosh, this is just like bliss, right? Nature has moved you on so that you can get on with your life. So a woman can have a child, a man can provide for the child. Not being sexist, just, women and man can provide for the child. You don't want to be feeling that merge thing where you want to stay in bed all day. Nature makes sure that you don't. It doesn't mean anything bad that there is less sex and less interest, unless you make it mean something bad. So if your mate is developing their own interests and their own goals and spending some time with their own friends, and you're not doing that, you're going to feel bad. You're going to blame your mate. You're going to say, hey, we've lost that love and feeling and all of that kind of thing. Instead, make sure that you also are developing your own friendships, spending time on them, and following your own dreams. Here's a truth that it's well worth knowing. Relationships obviously are great. We all want them and we want them to last. But they are not intended to solve all your problems and keep you living happily ever after, right? They are not. There's this romantic notion that when you get into a love relationship, you're going to live happily ever after. And it's not true. It doesn't happen for you. It doesn't happen for anyone you know. It didn't happen for your parents, right? Every couple has to live their life, and the relationship can support the life they're living, but it isn't intended to solve all your problems. You have to get on with your life whether you are with someone or not. So getting into a relationship doesn't mean you should get all clingy and then just try and stay with that person and not develop and pursue other interests. It's not healthy. It's not balanced. Don't expect to get all your happiness from your mate. You kind of will during the honeymoon phase, but after that, won't happen. And if you try and make it happen, you're going to be disappointed and it will cause relationship rift. But if you navigate phase 2 successfully and develop your own interests, both of you, and still spend some quality time together and enjoy each other, you start moving into phase 3. And phase 3 is called the companionship phase. In the companionship phase, you enjoy spending some time with your mate, and you also enjoy your own time, not with your mate or with your friends. You've both developed your own interests and are following your own paths. You don't need to talk a lot. You may talk as much as whatever, but you don't need to talk a lot to feel connected. You don't need to spend a lot of time together to feel related and intimate. Sex is good when you have it, but you don't need to have it to prove that you're in love. The problems with this phase of the companionship is people can start to wonder, are we just roommates now? Has he or she lost interest in me sexually? We don't seem to talk as much. And people make that stuff mean things. But in the companionship phase and in the separation phase, just try and make sure that you have some playtime together, some quality time together, that you support your mate in pursuing their dreams and hobbies, and that you get support from them in pursuing yours. And then just relax, right? Enjoy the intimacy without it needing to be some huge physical display of passion every time you're out in public. Long-term companionship has great rewards, and if your relationship can make it to the long-term companionship phase, you will really appreciate this. You'll feel well. You just feel good. You feel connected, whether you're with your partner or not. You appreciate the support of your partner. You appreciate the relationship, and you don't need to prove anything. It just feels good. So to end, relationships are great. We all know this. And they are not intended to solve all your problems and keep you living happily ever after. Just don't try and make a relationship be the end all of everything. It will cause you problems. You have to get on with your life, whether you're with someone or not. And the more you get on with your life, the more you'll have to share with your mate during quality time, and vice versa. And be happy that you have someone to share and witness the journey of your life, which is a really great thing that having a partner can provide. So that's an introduction to the 3 phases of a love relationship. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you in the next video.